I am Amy Hauser. We're going to do a little bit of gentle yoga. We're going to do mostly floor work today. And if you, for in terms of props, want some extra things to have besides your mat, it's always good to have a water bottle, but grab a blanket if you would like, or something that you could place underneath your knees if you need a little extra protection, whether a small thin pad or even just a thin blanket works nice if you need that extra protection for the knees. So we're going to start on the ground today, and we're going to start on our backs. So why don't you go ahead and join me? And we're just going to lay on our back. We're gonna just get comfortable. Legs spread out. If you like a blanket on top of you, that's fine. We're gonna start in a resting posture. I like to have my feet wide as the mat, my arms kind of out, giving a little bit of space for airflow underneath the arms. And just before we begin, let's just feel ourselves connect to the mat. Feeling your back, your legs, heels, the back of the arms, back of the palms, or back of the hands, connecting with the mat. Let's take a nice deep breath in through the nose, filling up the torso. You'll feel your belly rise in your chest, your heart center. And let's go ahead and blow that out through the mouth. Filling up again. Fill up that whole belly cavity, the chest. Just getting a nice full inhalation. And then letting that air out. We're just going to go through several rounds of just comfortable breath. Just allow your breath to fall into a natural flow. Just relaxing the body. We're going to start from that relaxed place. A state of rest, an awareness of the body. Giving your body even a gentle scan from the top of your head all the way down to the bottom of your feet. Just notice any areas of tension or discomfort, maybe where there's stiffness, some sort of a sensation that might be drawing your awareness to it. Just pay attention. Just observe it. Maybe bringing your awareness that that's an area to be a little gentle today. Noticing your mood. What kind of a mood are you bringing to your mat today? Again, no judgment, just an awareness of what is. And then just relaxing even a little deeper with your breath. Knowing that you'll keep your breath in your awareness throughout your entire practice today. Let's take our feet and put them flat on the floor so the knees are pointing up to the ceiling. Palms are shining up towards the ceiling. Let's let our knees just fall together. So it's like you're just relaxing on your back. Now we've just shifted the hips a little bit to an inward rotation. Feel aware of the breath. Let's straighten out that right leg long. And I want you to take your hand right to your hip bone. Find your hip bone on your right side with your right hand. And I want you to trace the topper part, that iliac crest of your hip, and just rub your hand firmly along that upper part of your hip bone, of your pelvic bone. And then just slide your hand down towards your hip. We're just literally just pressing our muscle. We're just acknowledging, we're feeling that muscle in the top part of that iliac crest where it comes close to our belly, and just rubbing. And you may not see what I'm doing, but just kind of following with your thumb and your index finger, pushing 3 or 4 times along that pelvic bone where you're like just tracing it if you can feel it, and then down your thigh a little ways. We're just kind of acknowledging the muscles, and we're kind of telling them, hey, we're going to wake up here. So you're just pressing. And then go ahead and bend that knee back up, foot flat on the floor. Then lengthen out the left side. And let's do the same thing. Taking our left hand, tracing up the upper part of our pelvic bone, our hip bone, and just running our hand firmly. It can feel really good if you just make that connection, go, oh, wow, there's a lot of things connecting to that hip bone in there. And I'm just running my hand kind of down along the edge, the inner edge of that pelvic bone, and running it down towards my upper thigh. All right, let's bend that knee back up. Feet are hip distance apart. Let's just do some gentle windshield wipers with the hips. Left to the right. Just dropping my knees to the right, then back up tall, then over to the left, like windshield wipers on a car. And then from here, let's just take our hands, wrapping them around our shins. We're in a ball. My chin is straight, my shoulders are flat on the mat, and I'm just rocking from side to side. I'm not lifting my head up off the mat. You can if you want, but I'm just rolling, rocking from left to right, just kind of loosening up the spine, massaging it a little bit. And then we'll come back to neutral. And I'm going to take my hands, both hands, clasp them around my feet, and in like a reclined butterfly, but I'm literally holding my feet together if you're able. Okay, now if this is not something that's accessible for you right now, just put your hands on your thigh or on your shins below the knees, and we're just gonna just sit here. We're just kind of stretching out the hip bone, opening up the pelvis. And in this more reclined butterfly, I'm just clasping my feet and just seeing how far they want to open. Can I hold the palm or the soles of my feet together with the palms of my hands? And just sitting still. You can rock if you'd like, but I think sitting still in this just isometric move allows the hips to just open as we breathe, not resisting the pose, but just letting the pose come to you. Finding your breath. And let's extend those feet up for happy baby. So my feet now, I've got up and open, and I'm wrapping my hands to the outside if that's accessible to my feet. Again, just a deeper hip opener. Massaging the back gently. Maybe you do like to do a little rocking. If the outside of your feet are not accessible, it's perfectly fine to just hold on wherever you can. Maybe that's behind the knees and those hamstrings, or at the calf or ankle. Your breath with areas where you feel the breath get stuck. Maybe there's stiffness in the back, or hips or shoulders. One more breath in. And on your exhale, let's just tilt to the right side of your body, right or left, whichever way you'd like, where you can still face the computer. And we're going to lay on our side for just a moment. Knees are bent. Just letting the back settle in. And then let's gently press ourselves up to seated. Yay. Yay. Feels good to start in a little different way. Now we're going to start in staff pose. So with staff pose, I'm sitting like a letter L. If you find your back really rounded here and it's hard to sit up tall, I want you to take your blanket and fold it and just place it over the very back, underneath the back edge of your cheeks. So it gives you a little lift to straighten your back. It's like you just elevate the very edge of your booty, and it can really help us sit up tall. So sitting up nice and tall, we're just going to place our hands to the side. I'm going to place my fingertips out to 3 o'clock and 9 o'clock, but you can have them pointing at 12 o'clock or 6 o'clock. And sitting up tall, belly into the spine, looking straight ahead. Find your drishti or your focal point. Something on the wall directly in front of you that's not moving. It just allows you to focus on something outside of yourself. Activating the feet, like you're stamping the bottom of your foot into that wall in front of you. Shoulders relaxed. Belly in, everything active. This is an isometric, muscle strengthening, toning pose. Breathing. And let's release that. We're going to do a gentle staff twist. I'm going to take both hands and just place them to my right hip, a little in front, and just a gentle twist. Opening through the collarbone, softening through the face. Relaxing the shoulders. We'll have a few more full breaths here. Practicing our mindfulness or presence, being right here, right now. On your next exhale, let's come back to neutral, straight ahead, and then we'll do the same on the left side. Go ahead and turn to the left. Softening. And on the exhale, let's go ahead and untwist, come back to neutral. Now we're going to have a reach staff pose twist. So I'm going to take my left hand to the outside of my right ankle, or calf or shin, whatever you can reach. Then I'm going to take my right hand and I'm just going to reach back. So my palm is facing in, and I'm going to lean in. Oh my gosh, that feels amazing to me. So do it where it feels amazing, not painful. Leaning in. Again, my palm is shining in, or in this case, towards the back wall. And where can you relax your neck and shoulder? Make the pose work for you and with you, not against you. So perhaps I can pull my belly in to protect my back. I can organically move my neck to find a gentle, soft place for it to land as I breathe. Let's go ahead and come back up, lowering those arms, nicely done. Wiggle the shoulders if you need to. Then we're going to take the right hand towards that left shin, calf, or ankle or foot, extending the left back behind, shining the palm in toward the midline. Use your breath. And let's go ahead and sit back up, coming back to center. We'll slide into a butterfly pose. So soles of feet together, wrapping the hands around the toes to hold the feet in place. Whether your feet are close to the body or further away, you get to play with that. We'll take a nice deep inhale. And on the exhale, let's fold, rolling in, dropping the chin to the chest. We're basically staying in each pose for about 5 full breaths. We'll release that. Let's put those feet out a little bit in front of us for some windshield wipers. So when I drop my knees to the left, my eyes are going to go to the right. And then I come back to center, dropping feet and knees to the right, eyes to the left. And go ahead and do that 4 or 5 times, holding the belly into the spine. And back to neutral. Let's come on to our hands and knees. So if you want padding underneath your knees, we're going to be in the child's pose. So again, sometimes we're going to do child's pose and we're going to do some cat-cow. We'll be in tabletop. So sometimes people for child's pose want to block. That's perfectly fine. Or that blanket underneath the knees, just to not make the knees crunch so much. Starting in tabletop, we're going to do 5 rounds of cat-cow. Pressing the hands into the mat, tops of the feet into the mat. Inhale, chin comes up toward the ceiling, eyes looking towards the top corner of the wall in front of you. Pushing into the mat, exhale, rounding the spine, chin comes back to the chest. Inhale, belly drops, shoulders relax, head comes up. Inhale, rounding through the spine, chin down toward the chest. Continuing at your own pace. Some like it fast and some a lot slower. Find your rhythm this morning or this evening, whatever time it is for you. Allowing the spine to stretch and to lengthen. One more round. Coming back into neutral. Let's push back into child's pose. Just for a little stretch, walking your fingertips all the way forward. Take a nice deep breath in and filling up your back, sending the breath around to the back for expansion. And breathing that out, we'll push ourselves back up into tabletop. Next, we're going to take our right leg. We're going to lift that up in front. So it looks like I'm in two right angles. I've got the back leg making a right angle, the top leg making a right angle. Now I'm going to take my right leg out to the side. So it's basically parallel with my left knee, okay? So find a strong, sturdy base here. Belly into the spine to protect the back. My left hand is just going to dangle down my side, and my right hand is going to rest on my right thigh. And I'm simply going to rock toward that right foot. The knee's not going to come over the right foot. We're just going to rock. Just feeling a really kind of different stretch in your hip. Now, some people will go, oh, that could cause me a little Charlie horse in my hip. Play with it. Be careful. Don't go so much that it's going to lock up on you. Just checking your range of motion. And then on the next one where we're rocking in, we're going to hold it here. So let's hold that lean toward that right foot, pressing into the right heel. Finding the breath. And we'll come back up straight. Now let's take our hands on the mat in front of us. We're going to walk that foot towards the front mat for a low lunge. Right foot is in front, hands are straddling or on both sides. I'm going to extend that back leg. So if you'll notice my shape, my shoulders are in a straight alignment with my back left knee. Pressing up, hands to that right thigh. And if it's in your practice, arms out to the side, leaning forward for an airplane, low lunge. Pressing into that front right heel helps with balance, or your hands can stay on your thigh. Finding your breath. Let's go ahead and place the hands on the thigh. Sweeping those arms up overhead. And then I'm going to make a little hammock with my hands to let my head just rest. Opening up through the heart, relaxing the shoulders, chin goes towards the ceiling. Opening up the chest, opening up the upper back. Finding your breath. And then hands back to the mat. Go ahead, and if you want to just lift or help that foot back to tabletop, find yourself back in tabletop. This is why I'm like, you might want knee protection. We're on the ground a little bit here today. Then let's go ahead, press back for a moment into child's pose, just to kind of stretch that out. Take a breath. And then come back to tabletop. We're going to lift that left foot in front. So again, we're at two right angles. And then we're going to take that left leg out to the side. Now the heel of my left foot is in parallel with the knee on the right. And let's go ahead and lunge into that left side. Finding the breath, belly into the spine, soften shoulders, smile on your face. Leaning. And now let's go ahead and hold it over that left heel. Leaning in and hold. And hands to the mat in front of you. Let's lift that left foot forward for that low lunge. Again, noticing, see if you can align your shoulders over that knee so you're in a straight line. Not over, but in a straight line rather, if I were to draw a line from my shoulder to my back right knee. Coming up, pressing through that front left heel, hands to the knee, and then if you'd like, out for airplane. Belly in, neutral chin, neck, arms straight, pencils straight. Activate the muscles in those arms. Then hand either back to the knee or just sweep those arms up overhead. And then let's make that hammock again behind the head, allowing the back of the head to rest in the hands, opening up through the heart, softening through the collarbone, activating that back right glute. Nice full breath in. And then let's take those hands back to the knee. And then we'll place that leg back behind and we'll move back into tabletop. Pressing into child's pose or even embryo. So embryo, I just take my hands back by my feet, rest the forehead on the mat in front of me. And give the shoulders a little rest. Let's get 3 full breaths in here. I'm gonna lift my head, and then you want to take your right arm. Let's thread the needle through. So I'm going to take my right arm underneath. I'm starting with my left so I can do it towards the camera, but either side. We're going to thread the needle through, opening up that shoulder. Feel that shoulder blade, that scapula just open up, allowing either your hand to rest on your forearm or on the mat, the ear on the mat. And let's go ahead and push up, and we'll do the same on the other side. Threading that needle through. Let's go ahead and come on up, back to tabletop. So we're in tabletop. We are going to go to a supported plank. So I'm going to shift my weight forward where my shoulders and my knees again make a straight line, lowering down into like a chaturanga, but my booty's gonna stay up in the air. My chin's coming towards the mat. And then when my booty's up, my chin's to the mat. Now I'm gonna lower all the way to the mat and come up into a baby cobra. Just feeling the extension in the shoulders, in the back, pressing the top of my feet into the mat to support my back. And then I'm going to push back into a child's pose. We're going to do that one more time, flowing through. On your next exhale, let's push back up into tabletop, shifting through into that supported plank, coming forward. My hands are holding the weight of the body, booties up in the air, chin to the mat, dropping all the way down to the mat, and then pushing through, maybe full cobra, whatever feels right in the body. And then pushing back into a child's pose. And if you want, lift your wrists and just rotate your wrists. Just stretch them out a little bit. Pushing back into tabletop. Let's tuck our toes and we're going to go into downward facing dog. Chin towards the chest. Feet hip width distance apart. Your gaze is at your feet. Fingertips spread nice and wide. If you like to pedal your dog, that's fine if that feels good in the legs. Belly into the spine. Let's walk our feet towards our hands. We're at the top of our mat. We're going to just reach for opposite elbows for ragdoll. Allow the crown of the head to reach to the mat, relaxing the neck as if your chin is glued to your chest, swaying from side to side, lengthening the spine. Let's release our hands to the mat. And we're going to inhale and sweep those arms up towards to the sides. Inhale, coming up. Eyes follow the hands to the top, up towards the sky. Exhale, hands to heart center. Do a mini salutation. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, let's forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, strengthening and lengthening the spine. Hands rest on the shin. Exhale, forward fold. And inhale, rise. Arms sweeping to the sides, up overhead. And exhale the hands back to heart center. Let's step our right foot back for a warrior two. My front heel intersects with the open long side of my back foot. Arms come out to the side, leaning in, gazing down the middle finger, my focal point. We'll connect with our breath here for a few breaths. Strong arms, belly in. Let's go ahead and reverse this warrior. Softening that right shoulder, gazing at our back foot, opening the back. And let's exhale back to warrior two. And then we're going to bring our feet forward for a separate leg forward fold. Arms are out to the side. Feet, long sides of the feet are parallel with the short edges of your mat. Leaning forward, down to the mat. Chin drops. Relax the back. Pressing into the outsides of your feet. Allow the head to hang and relax. If you need to bring the earth up closer, you can put your hands on a block or on your calves. We'll exhale, coming up nice and tall. We're gonna move into a goddess pose. That's you, super goddess. Hands like jazz fingers. Pressing in firm. Your toes now are at the corner of your mat. So they're at an angle so that your feet and knees are in alignment out to the side. Belly's in, big smile. I'm a goddess. And let's straighten those legs. We're going to rotate towards the top of our mat again. We'll go into a warrior one. Back foot is like at your toes are at 2 o'clock. Pressing into that front heel. Arms are up. Softening though, relaxing the shoulders even though the arms are up. Let's interlace our fingers and make that hammock behind our head again. Opening up if you would like. Otherwise, stay in warrior one. And find that breath. Strong legs. Relaxing the head into the hands. Let's release those arms back up to warrior one. And we'll step to the top of the mat. If we'd like, if you want to practice here, we'll just do a little bit of tree for a small balancing pose while we're up. So pressing through that left foot into the mat. You can rest your right foot, maybe at the ankle, the calf, or perhaps the thigh. Just see where you're at in your practice today. Finding your balance. If you'd like, grow your tree. Let the breath calm you and find the place that you're supposed to be today. There's no competition, there's no striving, there's just being. And then we'll come on out of that. Well done. Let's do the same on the other side. I'm going to go to the other end of my mat for sake of this. We'll flow one more time. Inhale those arms up overhead, eyes follow the hands. Exhale, forward fold. Stretching out that spine. Inhale, halfway lift, belly into the spine, lengthening as the crown of the head reaches for the wall in front of you. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise. And let's step back with the opposite foot now into warrior two. Again, find that drishti, that focal point right in front of you. Gazing down that middle finger as you connect with your breath to breathe through the discomfort. Let's go ahead and reverse that warrior. And then come back into warrior two. Straightening that front leg, turning those toes in. Again, it's like a separate leg forward fold, only this time it's a yoga mudra. We're going to bend at the hips. We're going to take our hands and interlace them behind our back. Lengthen those arms, reach those knuckles to the wall behind you. Then we're going to fold over, allow the crown of the head to reach for the floor, lifting those arms off the spine if that feels right. Allowing yourself to just kind of wring out the shoulders, move whatever your body's asking for. Go ahead and do that. As you breathe. And And then let's go ahead and lower those hands back towards the tailbone. Belly in, protecting the spine. Go ahead and raise back up to standing. Beautiful. And then we're going to rotate back towards the top of the mat for warrior one. Pressing in through that front heel, lifting. So both feet are flat on the mat. That back foot, those toes are pointing towards what would be 10 o'clock on your clock, at least on mine. Let's go ahead and interlace the fingers back behind the head, resting that skull into your hands, opening through the collarbone, finding the breath. One more breath in. And we'll step back towards the top of our mat. And then let's do tree on the other side. Balancing everything out. Go ahead and root down through that right foot. You just see from side to side. Maybe one side is a little easier than the other. Maybe you want to grow your tree. Allow the winds to blow through. Or maybe hands at heart center. And when you're done, come on out of that. Shake it all out a little bit. And then we will finish with one more just salutation. Let's go to the top of the mat. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, folding. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, I'm going to have you step back into plank. So we're going to step back into plank. Now you can either stay in plank or you can lower your knees for a supported plank. And we're going to hold for 3, 2, 1. And then let's go ahead and lower all the way down to our mat. Untucking your toes. Let's just place our left ear on the mat. Allow the hands then to come down by the body side, by the hips. And let's just rest for a moment. We're experiencing 5 breaths on each side. Feel the work that your body just did. Really with a state of gratitude, right? Notice the breath and how the upper body lifts off the mat with each inhale. Settling back in with the exhale. Then let's go ahead and lift our head and put the right ear to the mat for 5 more breaths. Lifting the head to neutral. Let's take our hands and form a diamond underneath our forehead, and just place the forehead, resting that forehead in that diamond with a neutral spine, lifting our feet towards the sky. Let's windshield wiper then our feet from left to right. So we're now just doing a windshield wiper where just the feet are falling to the left and to the right. Coming back to neutral, take your left hand and place that at your shoulder on the mat, pressing into the mat at your left shoulder with your left hand. And we're going to take our right arm out long, like a half a letter T, lifting. My ear on is going to be my right ear is going to be on the mat. We're going to do a spinal twist. So I'm literally lifting my left leg, reaching it towards my right arm. Whether your foot actually hits the floor or not doesn't matter. We're just doing a nice gentle spinal twist. Getting a few breaths in this twist. Then let's go ahead and roll back onto a belly and do the same on the other side. So take your left arm out nice and long. Right arm is just with the hand next to the chest. And twisting. Oh, wow, that feels so good. And let's go ahead and roll back onto the belly. Both hands at the chest, pressing our body up. Let's push back into child's pose and counter that move just a little by rounding the spine. Arms out long. Maybe even you want to roll the forehead back and forth, left or right. Just keeping the center of the forehead in the mat. Just like you're giving your forehead a massage. The breath is the cleansing that makes every pose effective. And then coming back up to all fours. Let's swing our feet out to the side and we're rolling back on our back again. We're getting close to the finish line. Y'all are doing great. We're going to roll back, taking our legs in our easy pose, so just crisscrossed, and opening them up. So it's not really a reclined butterfly because our feet would be together. Here they're just crossed. Arms come up overhead, reaching for the wall behind you. Opening through the face, relaxing the forehead, softening your scalp, your jaw. Then we're going to take our legs into waterfall. So whether you want to lift one leg at a time or both up overhead, palms can shine up toward the sky or down towards the earth. Allowing the legs to just relax up overhead, an inverted L, inverted staff. And let's take our hands and walk them towards our calves or ankles. And if you would like, walking those hands up towards your feet, pulling those legs nice and straight towards the chest. And you'll just notice there might be some shaking, what feels right in the body. Oxygenate the body if they're shaking. Relax the shoulders. And then we'll walk those hands back down the legs, bringing them back up overhead. Feet to the mat. We're going to take both legs, like we're doing windshield wipers, only we're going to do a spinal twist. Both legs drop to the right, arms out to a T, and then we're just going to gaze over the opposite shoulder. So legs to one side, head to the other. And coming back to neutral, let's one at a time bring those legs back up and then drop them to the opposite side. Taking our gaze then to the other side for a nice gentle spinal twist. Bringing the legs back up to neutral. Clasping our hands around or underneath the knees, around the thighs and calves. Let's go back to a gentle rocking. Whether you want to rock from side to side or backward and forward. See what the body needs. And then make your way into your final resting pose or Shavasana. If you would like a blanket, have it handy to drape across your belly. Sometimes people prefer to sit up during their final resting. Feet wide as the mat, arms out to the side. Make yourself large and in charge as you rest. On your next inhale, let's breathe in with intentionality, bringing that breath, filling up the belly, noticing the heart space expand and the chest, and letting that all out. On the next inhale, let's bring that breath even all the way down to the toes. as if you're filling up your entire body, everything you just worked, everything you just stretched, all the way up the legs, torso, down the arms, up through the throat, and filling the entire skull and head space with life-giving breath, and letting that out into the world around you. Continue to take some deeper, more intentional breaths, filling your heart with gratitude for the time you spent to nourish your body, to nourish your mind, to release tension, and to strengthen your whole being. Let's bring some gentle movement into the hands and feet, just bringing our awareness back to the here and now. When you're ready, fold over to your right side for a moment and recalibrate. Paying close attention to the thoughts you have about your practice, about what comes next, as you get to choose the way your day moves and flows. And that doesn't always seem like it's the case, but we are able to make those decisions on breathing life or things that aren't so life-giving. And so as you make your way up, carefully protecting your back, we'll come back into hero pose or easy pose. Taking your time. And if you'd like to join me, let's just place our hands on our heart. Just awakening to a powerful sense of gratitude for the movement, for the time, for the opportunity, for the connectivity to be able to connect online and be with another person, to do something for our bodies and our minds and our soul and our spirit. The light in me honors and respects and thanks the light in you. Thanks for coming.